Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the third and final session of TEDxSIBMBangalore 2013. Without much ado, let me introduce our first speaker for this session to you. Today we are talking about breaking the mold, and our next speaker is like the perfect example for it. It'll take me hours to just read out her profile. A compeer, a cricket commentator, and an entrepreneur. She has truly treaded the path less traveled. Her energy is infectious. A Limca Book awardee, this event management company CEO is truly a woman of substance. Ladies and gentlemen, with a huge round of applause, please help me welcome on stage Dr. Meenakshi Anantram.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's such a pleasure to be here back on campus. This afternoon, I must thank Kevin, Shruti and Binu for letting me stop and recollect about a 50-year life that I've spent on planet Earth. Sometimes we just forget that we have a past that we can recollect about and keep talking about others' pasts and lives. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Meenakshi. As you can see, I'm an ordinary woman who has led a very extraordinary life. I was born to win, but I was predetermined to lose when I started my life. This evening, I would like to spend a few moments in reliving those wonderful moments of my life, the pleasures, the pains, and the path that all of us walk every day and not realize that makes us what we are. I am simply me. I am a woman. If you can put off this light, maybe people could see this presentation. Who was born into a very, very average middle-class family. But I had very wonderful parents. My father was a cricketer who played for India. And my mother, a very scholastic woman, who took every stage by storm. It was in my 13th year when I realized that I was somebody myself. It was always the aura of the cricket match in my father's bowling statistics or my mother's excellent extempore speeches till then. As always, the South Indian girl would look after the kitchen with her mother, and the brothers and the father would sit and have their breakfast, lunch and dinner being served by us. And that was the rule for us. It was just before my 13th birthday, at one such breakfast, I overheard my father saying to my brothers while I served them, I wish one of my sons would play cricket for the state. I wish. For a minute, I froze. Did I hear him right? Did he say one of my sons? For a second I knew that I was not an entity. It was then that the moment of realization came to me. From being just a simple girl, enjoying childish dreams with dolls, with embroidery, and little things like music class, I couldn't sleep that night. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very grateful to my father for telling me, directly or indirectly, that I had to find myself, I had to be me. I started by feeling that no dream, can I have the next slide please? No dream is too big and no mortal is too small to achieve that dream. I would like to take you through some glimpses in my life and come to the place where we all have gathered here to witness. Ladies and gentlemen, no dream is too big, no mortal, too small to live it. That was me as a child, just an ordinary girl living a lovely life. In 1978, I would wake up at 4 in the morning, go for cricket nets without my father knowing, changing my name to Meenakshi M because Meenakshi Murugesh meant the daughter of the very famous cricketer Murugesh. After a month of coaching and training, I came back one morning wearing the state cap and my name was announced in the newspaper, Meenakshi Murugesh, captains Tamil Nadu under 15. That morning, I walked back from nets with the Tamil Nadu state cap on my head and I rang the bell. My father opened the door And he looked at me and said, "Whose cap is that?" I said, "Dad, read the newspaper. I captained the Tamil Nadu women's cricket team." I will never forget that first look of victory. The look in his eyes, the pride that I wanted to see in the eyes of the man I loved the most on earth. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a small thing that started triggering a very major issue in my life. The sports star covered me as one of the most agile custodians as I went on to play handball. I played handball at 19 national games. I was the vice captain of the Indian handball contingent to the 1982 Asian Games, and me and Prakash Padukone walked with the Indian flag into the ground. Some wonderful memories for a very simple girl. Many national games. For me, life was just a game. I finished my BSc under great compulsion, running away from medical school because I knew if I joined All India Institute of Medical Sciences, I will not be playing the game I wanted to play, and my idea of life was different. I got out of medical school and I played all those games that I wanted to. In 1983, I met my partner, who's here with me this evening. The most wonderful human being came forward, held my shoulder and said, "Come, let's walk together." I married my best friend, Anantram, and that changed my life forever. At that moment, ladies and gentlemen, I had married a Brahmin boy, and my father told me, we come from a very staunch non-Brahmin family. My father said, "Your life is over. The Brahmins will not allow you to go and do what you want to do. So, be happy with what you did so far. Be grateful to God. Sit down, have those babies, come back and be just a housewife, but be a good one at it." I shared this moment with my husband and his mother, and they said, "We are very proud to know who you are, and we do not want you to lose yourself in narrow domestic walls." Ladies and gentlemen, I went on to join the MSc class of biology in Andhra University, and I walked out with the gold medal. I could see the pride in the face of my mother-in-law, whose husband, Professor P.N. Ganapathy, was the biggest, the most famous microbiologist, marine biologist of his times. I'm very proud that I was the young scientist recipient for that year. The Basu Memorial came to me, and the Indian National Congress announced me as the best young scientist for that year. I have 25 publications, scientific publications, and I have traveled to different parts of India giving professional advice to people in my field, which is ichthyoparasitology. I was one of the few people in the ichthyoparasitology field who could make it big to many of the records that my field has seen. In 1992, I was selected in the Rotary GSC program, and I went to the United Nations. Ladies and gentlemen, I was invited to address the General Assembly and to represent India for 3 minutes. As a child, I had always gone on the 24th of October every year for the United Nations Day, and would always wonder how it would be to be at the UN Assembly. God gave me this chance. As I walked up to the platform at which 40 different countries were already addressing the platform, I was the 29th person. A Britisher walked up to me and said, I was wearing a sari. He said, "Madam, you from India? Do you want to translate? Can you speak English?" And I looked at him and said, "I don't blame you. I look like that." So I said, "No, I manage." I walked up, picked up the microphone, and when I said, "Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen," this Britisher dropped his jaw and looked at me. He could not believe that an Indian could speak English. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a victory of sorts, because after the session was over, there were 40 delegates who came back to me and wanted to know what I spoke about and whether they could be there when I spoke at the next platform. That night was born an orator, and I'm very, very proud that I could speak. In 1990, I was one of the Indian scientists on the Antarctic mission, and it was just after Dr. Salim had passed away, but I was selected on the Antarctic mission, and I was to be there for 3 years on a sabbatical to do my research on Euphausia, which is a shrimp in those areas. I could not make it to the mission, The President of India congratulated me, but I had to make a decision. I had 2 young babies back home, and they had not given me maternal status. They said that I could go there, but I could come back only after 3 years. I would have no contact with my family whatsoever because I was on a secret mission. My little son, who was then 4 years old, walked into the room and said, my husband said, go. He said, Amma, I forgot what you look like. That night, the mother in me cried. I tore my ticket and said, I don't want to go anywhere. I want to be here rocking my cradle. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the wisest decisions, because that little boy passed away when he was 21, and I was there to rock his cradle, to be his idol, to hold him and stand for 21 years after that. I wouldn't have missed that for anything in life. My proudest moment came in 1994 when I was called to give running commentary for the cricket team, the cricket matches. It was a series starting from the Ranji Trophy through the Duleep Trophy for men's cricket matches. I was registered as the first woman commentator in India for cricket. And in 1994, my father and I shared the same commentator's box for the West Indies versus India match, and we entered the Limca book as the first father duo to be together for running commentary for men's international matches. That morning was wonderful. I was sitting shoulder to shoulder with the man I loved most. I was sitting and thinking that this is the man who wrote me off so many years ago, and I could see the pride in his face and mine. I started questioning myself then. Who am I? How many of you in this room have asked yourself, who am I? How many of you know who you are? If you don't put your hands up, it means you know who you are. How many of you, tell me truthfully, I've asked this question. I still don't know who I am. Yes? So some of you still don't know who you are. I don't know who I am. I still don't know who I am. I have never met myself. How many of you have actually met yourselves? How many of you have seen in the mirror a face which you recognize as yours? The quality is yours. The mind is absolutely yours. Didn't happen to me. Questions came to me. Am I a sportswoman? Am I a commentator? Am I a scientist? Am I a poet and writer? By then I had started writing poetry and had won international accolades and awards for my poetry. My book of poems are being published, and I went on to become the poet #1 from the world for an internet poetry writing competition. So there were so many things happening, so many avenues opening up, but where was I? Who was I? Have I met myself? 1992, ladies and gentlemen. The university refused to give me a job, saying I was overqualified. I was a PhD gold medalist with 25 international publications. I was the only UGC net scholar in the university. None of the others were fit for a job, but the Vice Chancellor told me clearly on my face, you are too good, you can do anything. These poor people need a job. That night, I went back saying, wow, I love this man. In one sentence, he told me to get out of this campus and find my own trail. He asked me to get out and live my own life. That night, my husband and I sat down and we planned. I soul searched and realized that I was happiest on the stage. I had been holding the mic from the age of 13 under the tutorship of Mr. Amin Sayani. And Aminji always told me to follow your dream. The morning I woke up, I resigned my job from the CSIR, and I started India's first event management company, Razzmatazz. Ladies and gentlemen, when I say India's first event management company, It means India's first registered event management company. Events have been going on from donkey's years. Our grandmothers and grandfathers, the greatest event managers. When there was a wedding in the house, they did a fabulous job. When there was a birthday, all of us were event managers. But when 1992 happened, when we went to register our company, the registrar asked me, event management, what is that? Are you a supplier? Are you a sound lady? He didn't realize I was sound. Are you a lights guy person? Are you a house for shamiyanas, things like that? I said, no, we don't own any of this, we manage it. Management had not had event management in its dictorial. It was not there in the dictionary of the world. I guess if I had patented that word, I would have been a millionaire today. But I did not patent event management as a word. And today, I'm very proud because when I walk into the room full of event managers, and we have plenty of event managers in India, even today, they stand up and wait till I take my seat. Ladies and gentlemen, at the age of 50, what more do you need? You have a company that speaks volumes for you. The first 5 years was very difficult. We started our event management with the launch of Coca-Cola in India. In 1994, Coke came back to India. I had a budget of 10,000 rupees, and I was supposed to create hype in my city. My client was very, very plain. He said, I give you 10,000 rupees. I don't know what event management is about, but I want the whole town to be talking about Coca-Cola. So we went out and brought 500 children dressed in red t-shirts onto the road. 1994 was a year of Bombay, and Humma happened in a big way on the road while Coca-Cola was released. A helicopter taken free of cost from the Navy, who sympathized with us, flew over us and dropped pamphlets saying, the city is painted red, Coke is back. Ladies and gentlemen, every newspaper in my state, every newspaper in the country covered this event saying, city painted red by children, and Coca-Cola was back. We opened shop, and we have never been able to close it from then. The only problem, we haven't been able to sleep well after that. BPL came to us to launch their karaoke systems, and we had a musical competition. We had to go through a lot of people who thought they could sing well, and they brayed, and they brayed, and they brayed. And we smiled, and we smiled, and we smiled, because we knew at the end of the day we get a paycheck for doing that. But nevertheless, the winner of that competition went on to become a playback singer. Ladies and gentlemen, I still remember the day when singer KK and I walked into the Sony office, taking an album in our hand. We requested the Sony managing director to release the album. KK was in college, an unknown singer. He just had a band and a crazy name, KK. The client said, this music will not work. So I begged him to listen. He listened to one song, and that was Pal. And that night, KK was born as a singer. Ladies and gentlemen, we have handled many artists, including Smita, who is a pop singer from South India, Chitra, who is a Padma Shri singer, a legendary singer, and we have made sure that their brand was built. Event management is a beautiful field of management. It is an art with a science in it. Many people come and ask me, oh, I want to be an event manager. It looks so wonderful. There you are, standing in front of a beautiful stage, lights on you, there's music, there's smoke. And you know, the glamour and glitz is with you. You have beautiful babies walking behind you. You have the sensational artist singing. So everybody thinks it's child play. But hats off to Binu and the gang, because once you get into event management, you realize it's the worst possible thing you can do. You have to satisfy 1 million people with no resources except your goodwill, your responsibility, and your life. So welcome to event management, the TEDx team from SIBM. A very, very difficult job. Well done. The fact that you have all of us here is a salutation to these wonderful little kids who've done a great job. What is Razzmatazz? We featured in India Today's Telugu version as one of the strangest companies that India has netted. The Telugu paper wrote saying, I'm a Mukutulena Maharani, a Maharani without a crown. And I felt very nice. Someone was giving me the Royal Highness feel. We were featured in the Reader's Digest, and the Reader's Digest wrote about how a simple woman from a small room in her house started India's first event management company and made a successful story about it. The Who's Who features me, and they still haven't not figured out in which part of the book they're going to feature me, whether it's in science, in arts, in music, in commentary, or whether it's going to be in event management, but I'm there in that book. We had lots of wonderful memories in events, lots of glamorous moments. 3,000 events last year, all across the globe. Lovely clients who keep calling us again and again. And then started India's first Events Entertainment Management Association, EMA, and we were invited to be the founder members. How many of you in this audience has heard of a place called Vizag in India? Oh, not bad, your geography is terrific. When I went for the Born-Meter quiz contest when I was 13, the quiz master asked me, Vizag, where is that? It's like Denkali of Phantom, or Tarzan's kingdom. And I had to explain that actually it has the biggest steel plant, it has a port, etc., etc. Take out the geography book and show it to him. But today, when you talk of Vizag and you say events, our name pops up. We have given an identity to our city, and our city has given us all the love because of that. When EMA started, we became founder members. And when we started the first meeting, I was asked to discuss what are the qualities. Now listen to me, those who want to be event managers, what are the qualities you need to be an event manager? There is only one quality and one qualification. You have to be mad. If you are not mad, you're not fit to be an event manager. You have to be mad because once you get into event management, you have no life. You have no friends. You have no family. You have nothing to call your own except for the pride of running somebody else's event. So if you are mad, you will be a good event manager. I have a team of 32 people in my office, out of which 30 people are school dropouts. 30 people are school dropouts. My right hand is a 10th standard fail. He failed in 3 subjects. He joined my company. I took him up because I saw this spark, and today he is my right hand. So it doesn't matter. This MBA degree is going to help you to compile it. My PhD helped me to compile it. Doesn't matter. If the child is smart enough, if he is street smart, he will be a good event manager. Long time ago, people who sacrificed their sleep, family, food, laughter, and other joys were called saints. Now they are called event managers. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening I was asked to talk about my life. But there's something that I would like to tell each one of you in this audience. All of us add meaning to whatever we do. But there are some of us who have dared to be different. There is a story of the egg of a hawk that fell into the nest of a chicken. When the egg hatched, the ugly hawk came out of the nest and he saw some beautiful chicks. Not literally. He saw some beautiful chicks with lovely soft hair around him, and he said, "Ee, my brothers and sisters are so beautiful. But what happened to me, God?" He went on with his ugly life, pecking at the ground and eating the little worms, till one day he looked up and saw in the sky a beautiful bird with his wings opened out, flying and hovering over the sky. This ugly fellow said, "Oh God, I wish I was that fellow. See how ugly he is, but he is flying like a king in the sky." Ladies and gentlemen, that is the same story for all of us. We are all born to win, but we make ourselves losers because we don't recognize that moment. We don't recognize who we are. When we look in the mirror, we have to see ourselves as the tigers that we want to be. Yes, when we see ourselves in our dreams, Each of us should be the Aishwarya Rai, the Amitabh Bachchan, vagera vagera, because we can be them. Dream well, challenge your dream every day. See the opportunity, respect it. Opportunity, for me, when I was 30 years old, event management came to me. I was already halfway through my life. This opportunity had been knocking away for many years, and I was not looking at it. But remember, this opportunity is like a bus stand. It's like a bus. The bus leaves the road, and you say, oh, I missed the bus. Nobody can miss a bus in the life. That bus will come back to that damn bus stop again, and you will be waiting to catch the same bus. It's never too late to be what you want to be. It's never too late to catch the bus. Whatever you want it badly. Want it really badly. Live with an attitude of gratitude. Break down narrow domestic walls, especially girls. Don't let family bog you down. Dream and let the family dream with you. Convince them because you are right. Bring value into the room. This is the most important thing. The minute you enter a room, all of you might be a carpenter, you might be the potty cleaner, you might be the president of a country. When you enter the room, make sure that people notice you. Bring with you the aura, bring with you that glint in the eye, bring with you that warm personality that people say, wow, who's this? So make sure that you're noticed and you must live your dream. For all the children in the audience here, your life lies ahead of you. Your life, Mohit, lies ahead of you like a field of unbeaten snow. Be careful how you step on it, for every mark will show. This evening, I'm talking about an industry that is growing by 25% per annum. We are worth 200 crore rupees to the Indian economy. We are going to rock the future. Event management is here in a very, very big way. And when the history of events is written for our country, Razzmatazz will feature as one of the pioneers that made a difference. After all, every big journey starts with a small step. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you so much for being here, letting me dream, let me recollect my life. And after 50 years, I feel I need to go on. I have no time. Every day is so precious for me. My life has just started. And I'm sure in the next 10 years, you and I are going to make a difference just because we dreamed and we wanted to wake up to release the dream from our head and make it come true. Thank you, TEDx, SIBM Bangalore. Thank you, everyone. And I'm so frightened of that clock there. But am I on time? I still have time? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste, namaskar, sat shri akal, and vanakkam.